Hi, this is a video recorded by Tom Brown from the Information Lab. We're recording this video as part of our response to Kingston University's Business Intelligence Reporting and Analytical Software RFP. I'm recording this video today because some of the questions raised by Kingston have been difficult to answer in the documentation, and it feels appropriate to create a video to show some of the features that have been asked for our opinion on. So I'm going to be showing Tableau software. The questions that were asked in the documentation, which I'm trying to target today, are how do we create views using drag and drop? How does Tableau show results immediately? How do we create charts showing different types of series? You know, lines on top of bars, this kind of thing. And finally, how do we combine data from different sources? So in order to do this, firstly I'm going to open Tableau 8. And I'm going to go ahead and connect some data. Just going to use a Excel file which is stored here. Just going to open this file, rename it orders, and choose to connect live to the data. Now the first thing I want to demonstrate is the drag and drop environment. So I'm going to build a quick visualization predominantly using drag and drop. The first thing I'm going to do here is correct the data window that's been created by Tableau. These ID fields need to be dragged into the dimensions window as their dimensions. Tableau has incorrectly flagged them as measures because they're numbers. So you can see I'm using drag and drop to build that data environment. Now to build some kind of visualization, I'm going to drag the measure sales out to rows and drag order date to columns. And you see I'm using the primary interface of drag and drop, and also that Tableau is showing results immediately as I'm making these drag and drop actions. So let's do a few more things with drag and drop. I can take order date again and again, and you can see it's displaying different parts of the data hierarchy: year, quarter, and month. I can remove quarter should I choose. Okay. Now I can also drag fields out to different places. The region field here to the filter shelf. I can choose to select 3 regions. The view updates immediately. I can now drag region to color, and I get a different line, a different color per region. I can drag region to rows, and I get 3 different rows, 1 for each region. I can also now drag these to be reordered. There I am moving east to the bottom of the view. Okay, so that's Tableau's interface. You can see one of the primary ways of accessing the user interface is through drag and drop, and that the results are shown immediately. Now I'd like to show how we build a chart using different types of series. Okay, so I want to, in this case I'm going to compare 2 values. I'm going to look at sales over time, and I'm going to compare it to the profit ratio over time. So in order to do profit ratio, I'm going to create a calculated field. This is the sum of profit divided by the sum of sales. Now I'd like this field to be a percentage with 1 decimal place. That's for formatting purposes and so on. Okay. Now I'm going to draw sales over time. Do this by month again. Now I'd like to plot this as 2 different series, a line for sales and a bar showing profit ratio. So in this case I'm going to drag out profit ratio, but I'm not going to drag it up to rows here. I'm going to drag it over to the right hand side of the view, and we'll see that Tableau creates a dual axis chart, the blue line showing profit ratio and the orange line showing sales. Okay. Now the other thing that's happened is the marks card here has become a collapsible panel, and this is how we can change the different series to have different views. So I take my profit ratio line, which is currently the blue line, and change this to a bar. I might choose that my orange line should be at the front, so I have to right click the sales axis and move the mark to the front. Now I could go ahead and change this orange line to be anything I like, so it's sum of sales. I could make this a circle or a Gantt bar, which is just going to give me a line. Okay. Now I can also change the color of this as I choose. Black circle, thus. So that's how to display charts with different types of series on top of each other. Now finally I'm going to show how to combine data from different sources, and I'm going to do this using a budget versus actuals example. The actuals are my orders in this case, so I'm going to start by using the orders data that I've got. I'm going to draw a view which is customer segment and region and my sales figures. I've specifically used customer segment and region because this is the level at which my budgets in my secondary data source have been defined. So the next thing I need to do is go and find that secondary data source. It's also an Excel file. So I'm going to reach out here to my external data source, a secondary Excel file. Of course, these could be connections to SQL Server or Excel or any kind of data source that Tableau connects to. I'm just going to bring this data set and drop it into Tableau. Tableau tries to make the connection, and I connect to the Superstore Sales Budgets table within the Excel file. I'm going to call this Budgets and connect live. So now I have two sources up here, orders and budgets. Tableau's given me lots of visual indicators here to tell me that I'm connecting to orders initially. I've built this visualization based on the orders dataset, and hence I get a blue tick. When I move over to the budgets dataset, orange links tell me that these fields match within the data source. If they didn't match by name, then I could set relationships between the two datasets, but I don't need to do that in this case because the datasets match. And now I can take my budget amount and bring this out onto a dual axis. At this point I should synchronize these axes, and I can now see my budget amount in green and my sales amount in orange. I should probably design this to make it look good. It's not very clear which one is beating the other at the moment, so let's just remove the color. We'll make the budget amount a bar, which is grey with a border, and we'll make sum of sales a bar, which is a bit slimmer, and bring the bar to the front. Okay, so that's a slightly better view of budget versus actuals, but the point here is that we're using a chart displaying two different types or two different data sets from different sources. In this case, two Excel files. A more common example of this would be one from a formal database and your budgets from an Excel file. That's the end of my video today. Hope that was useful. Thank you very much. Goodbye.